Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddy Gate coverage. I'm Andy Signore, and this is a take two because Kim graciously started our show, and I was taping with Christopher Melcher. Some exciting content coming your way, guys. Apologies for starting over. We had some technical problems. If you're having an issue on the live, make sure you refresh, reload your browser, and it should work just fine. Kim, thank you so much. All the beautiful and amazing work you've been doing covering this trial. Bravo. Everyone give her a round of applause. It's Kim on YouTube. That's how you can thank her. Go to It's Kim on YouTube. One word. Subscribe. Find her link tree. Send her a tip. I implore you all. We couldn't have these without her hard work today. And it's amazing to have someone to rely on and trust who can actually get this going while I'm doing other exciting things. So I'm so grateful for her and all of you. Thank you, Kim. And yeah, guys, guess what? I just finished the trailer. The trailer that ends with justice. It's now going through color correct and mixing, but it did get done in time. Hallelujah. It came out good, Kim. You like it? You think they're going to get excited?
I do. I think you guys are going to like it. I think you're going to be excited. And I think it just gives kind of a glimpse of how much you guys have been working on and why things take so long, because it's a lot of work.
And there's still a lot of work left. We're not even close to done, but get
No.
excited. You're going to have, while I'm gone, I'll be out for the next couple weeks. Kim will be here to take over. Thank you, Kim. But we will have some great content I'm taping, and she'll be here live every day. And I am going to try to patch in with her throughout my trip. I know it's my break, but it's okay. I can fit in a few appearances because I'm going to be not in this country, Kim. Ooh.
No.
Where in the world is Andy? I'm going to try to do some fun moments with you if I can of where the heck is Andy. So stay tuned. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. But let's get into day 18, trial day 18. Christian Diddy, Justin Diddy, Janice Diddy are back. They discussed how much evidence could be part of Jane's testimony, including 6 years of text messages, personal assistance, etc. Prosecutors have culled some of the messages at the request of the defense. Blah, blah, blah. Hopes to admit some more. Why is this showing?
Sorry.
Judge will allow texts so far that are relevant, yada, yada, yada. That all stands standard. Now, Kim said it earlier. I want to reiterate again for our replay. There are apparently YouTubers and others trying to dox this Jane Doe accuser. We will not obviously be doing that, but it's now getting so bad that they're checking out YouTube streams, etc. We will be monitoring our chats, our comments. If you are caught trying to out or guess who this person is, we will mute you and you won't be able to comment again. So please do the right thing. Don't get us in trouble. Don't get her in trouble. Let her be able to do this anonymously. There was speculation the other day 50 Cent was getting involved and everyone was assuming things. But now I've heard, don't assume what you're hearing. So stop assuming. Don't just assume you know. You don't know. It's none of our damn business. Let this person have her anonymity. And that's very important. So please respect that if you want to be here on this channel. All right. So Jane returned. I wasn't here yesterday, but I caught up on the recap. She was back on the stand. She spoke yesterday about how her passionate and exciting, sometimes taboo relationship with Diddy devolved into forced adult acts under financial duress. Now, I'm glad we're getting there, Kim, and I may start and stop a little more to catch up and talk about it because I spoke to Emily and some others who were there, and the Banya, what was her name? Bana?
Yeah,
Bana.
Brianna.
I've gotten reports now from our recap, which I was here for that one. The Bana person is not always being well received in other pockets and people who were witnessing it there firsthand, saying that she was very dry, forgetful, and they said was caught lying multiple times, not just forgetting, but mistaking things, but not good testimony. So there is another side of this where, they said Diddy won that day. Like she was not a good person. It didn't help the others, just to give another side of things. And I saw yesterday, this Jane Doe, a lot of people right out the gate saying, well, this is another consensual person. She knows what she's in for. So I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I just want to try to make sure we're covering the sides of things. Yesterday, there was a little bit of pushback of, well, was this really, did she not sign up for this? So I'm glad to hear we're getting a little bit more into this of where she's now making it clear. Yes, I was into it in the beginning, similar to Cassie. Let's get into why that shifted and try to remind and refresh everybody who's having that argument, how you can change your mind, right, Kim? How things can absolutely change, no?
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing too. It's like just because consent was given at one time Doesn't mean it's given all the time. It also doesn't mean that there wasn't coercion. It doesn't also mean that there was duress. And the other thing I would say too with this whole testimony is there are points where other acts that would be associated with RICO are exposed. So I don't even know how much of this is actually about what Jane specifically went through and whether or not whatever her relationship was with Diddy, but it's the things that happened through the years that she knew him that involve his employees doing illegal things that I think really does matter. So just something to keep in mind as we go through.
So he wanted me to be wild and actual, Jane testified. She asked the male workers to use protection on multiple occasions, but she said she eventually stopped trying because Diddy preferred to have her unprotected. Why would you ever? That's just gross. He did not want to see the protection while watching. Jane broke down in sobs as she described encounters with different partners during alleged hotel nights that she could go on for multiple rounds. When she wanted to stop, she said she would tell Diddy she was tired, to which he would respond, "You're not getting tired on me, are you? Let's finish strong." She said through tears she didn't know why she didn't outright tell Diddy she wanted to stop, and that he would give her multiple doses of X per night in order to keep her awake. The juror and lawyers saw a video recording from a hotel night in which Jane asked a male worker to use protection. Video is not shown. The overflow was heard audio. The escort agreed. Before Diddy can be heard walking the room, Jane's voice cracks. "You promised." And Diddy apparently refused that request, telling her, "You are just taking that." Ugh.
Yeah.
Jane shuddered, averted her eyes, and broke down in tears as video of her performing acts in a freak-off played. Again, just to the jury and lawyers. She paused her testimony, took a breath, and collected herself. At that point, she had stopped 3 times in the 10 minutes prior. Jane recalled that after the relations with the escort ended, that they would not clean up bodily fluids, and Diddy would then proceed to be intimate with Jane and play with her leftover fluids from the escort. Oh, I almost barfed.
Yeah.
I almost barfed. Hold on, I need to...
There's a few moments like that of just like, I'm sorry, but I understand why she's kind of letting us know the intensity and how insane it is. So she testified after Diddy would play with the fluids, that she would shower and then the next entertainer would arrive and the process would then repeat. And sometimes this would happen up to 3 times. And judging by some of the testimony, I'm going to go with and possibly more. Now, Jane also recalled, you okay, Andy?
Yeah, it's just gross. It's absolutely gross.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jane recalled crying is kind of where we stopped, if you want to.
She recalled crying twice during the freak-offs, once during a group session where Diddy seemed offended. He said, "Are you crying?" and just looked like disgusted with my face. The second time was in Miami when Jane said she was so high, she was intermittently blacking out. Jane clung to Diddy's butler in desperation before Diddy made her have relationships with another male. She testified later. She said she broke down in tears in the shower with Diddy. He just said, "Don't effing do this right now. I'm high. I can't effing see that. I'm too high." So this isn't good, but this is good for the case in that now we're starting to see she didn't want to do this. She wanted to start maybe, have some fun, thought she did, but clearly now is put in this position that Cassie and so many others are, right? Where they're forced into this world of freak off that's way too extreme, and he's not allowing them to stop, which is just horrible. After the hotel nights, Diddy would typically go back to his house together. Jane said she would make sure Diddy was showered, and then she would cook for him. Lovely. Massage him and put him on his favorite shows. She's like a nurse.
So it's like she does all of that, 3 rounds or more, like 20, 30 hours, gets him home, gets him showered, and then feeds him, massages him, and puts him to bed.
Gross.
I know this is not like the most important thing, but for me, it just kind of hit me different because it was just absolutely disgusting. She then said, "Then I would finally get to cuddle with him and sleep with him," she said while choking up on the stand. She said she would feel really happy to end my night with Sean, but I would really fight to block out how sad I had felt after. It's sick.
Eventually, Diddy wanted to be intimate with Jane after she had spent hours with a worker. So he's just, that's just so weird. He's sitting there hours on end just watching her. Go watch a video. That's like great. He needs like live action adult films in front of him nonstop. And then after hours of that, then he wants to perform. It's so weird. Jane explained that due to her. Go ahead, start away.
Sorry, I will say one note that happened at the very end of the day, and I wasn't able to find a really nice write-up of it, but I'll just say it this way. Apparently, they had something called movie nights where they would just watch their own movies as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we hear movie night moving forward, that's what that means.
That's a definite new definition for Netflix and chill. Oh, here
yeah,
we go.
No kidding.
So they want to be intimate after all that work. Jane explained that due to her love and infatuation for Diddy, she longed for one-on-one time with him, which she only got after the relations while he watched. I started to feel obligated that I had to perform. Her testimony is strikingly similar to that of Cassie, who dated Diddy before. In the trial's first week, Ventura broke down in the stand. As she said, the freak-offs were the only time I could get with Diddy. Jane said she felt obligated to participate in these hotel nights because she felt if she did not, he would take her house away from her, which she was paying for. I wish we could take this back to when we first started dating, Jane wrote in a text to Diddy displayed in court. Ever since I opened Pandora's box, I haven't been able to close it. That's a key line right there.
There's a lot of texts.
She was open, like, okay, yeah, let's try this. And there are people who are swingers and they do group things. And if it's consensual and all partners are on board, people can do it. No judgment, no shame. But clearly she wanted to stop, and he creates an environment where they can't. Won't stop, can't stop. Bad boy for life. She said, one night of fun just turned into an eternity of our relationship, adding that she felt disgusted with myself and was confusing your lust for me as love, causing her heart to break. She told Diddy in the text she didn't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and makes me feel disgusted with myself. It's the only reason you have me around and why you pay for my house. I don't want to feel obligated to perform and fear losing you. I don't want to feel like that anymore. I just want to talk like adults and figure out where we go from here. So these are all text messages that are being shown?
These are text messages that are being shown to the jury.
Yeah, yes. That's saying she's not into it anymore, my man. She's just not that into it. Another part of the text read, I'm so much more than being loved in the dark hotel rooms, doing things that make me feel disgusted. Diddy responded, girl, stop. I'm high. Let me enjoy this.
Yeah.
She felt like she had to take substances during these nights because when I wouldn't, it would just feel too real. Something she said she didn't want to experience. I just wanted to kind of just feel like it would just make things easier, breaking down in tears again. She said she attempted 2 hotel nights without substances. The first, she said she didn't like it. The fantasy wasn't there. It was too real. It wasn't easy. She said she ultimately asked for a pill, after which she felt much better. The second time, she said she wanted Diddy to get sober because she cared about him so much. He agreed to take 30 days off of substances, but let's have one more sobriety party. One last sobriety party makes more sense. Jane testified that she was concerned for Diddy's health and got him to promise to take a month off from substances. He agreed if they could have one last party. The couple booked a hotel room in Hermitage?
A hotel in Beverly Hills.
There you go. I can't speak French. Where Jane struggled with substances to perform adult acts for 12 to 18 hours. Yikes. After rounds with 2 male escorts, she began throwing up. Sean came in and I told him I'd just thrown up, and he was like, that's good then. You'll feel better. Let's go because the guy is here. The third guy. That's also in a text?
I think that's just her saying it.
That's her working. Okay, yeah. Yikes. Jane said the longest hotel night was 3.5 days over New Year's 2022. She said she did not sleep at all and stayed awake with X. Shortest, we'll call it Twitter. The shortest hotel night was 12 hours long. When asked how she stayed awake, she answered through the use of Twitter, caffeine, water, and protein shakes. Gross. That's just unbelievable. That sounds unbelievable. 3.5 days?
Yep.
It's like too much. There was a break, and then Diddy's lawyers crowded around him in the defense while the court was on a break. The defendants right, Mark Agnifilo, Brian Steele, they're hovering, animated gestures as if frustrated or trying to get a point across.
So he was like, ah!
Somebody's not happy is what the recap of that was. Yikes. So then after the break, Diddy would regularly run out of substances during these FOs and have his security guards or assistants fetch more. Jane said her staff would show up at the hotel room and with pills and bottles of X, etc. And the stuff for the nose, mixture of greens, tobacco. Jane said Diddy usually took stimulants, but a dealer named Guido would sometimes bring X, a different X. Geez, there's a lot of these. We need a lot of codes. You need something really heavy to knock you out. I would take it after I put Sean to sleep. Jane's explained to jurors about the time she would collect substances and bring them to Diddy. She says she would take substances from LA to Miami. Rico.
There we go.
Rico la. And it would start with him asking her to pick up a package. So now is he paying? I guess, yeah, he's paying her. Mm-hmm. She's a girlfriend.
Oh, it gets better, Andy. It gets better. It gets better. And this is where I say, I don't care if you think that, she was getting something out of this or whatever. It's about the things we learn along the way, such as the next point.
She testifies that she was told to go to Diddy's residence in LA to pick it up from security. I understood that if I did it, put it in my luggage, it would be fine. I got the package from security. It was a white envelope. I put it inside my luggage, checked it in, went to Miami. I gave it to Sean in the bathroom. That's super illegal, by the way. Airport's like, have you packed your bag? And she clearly didn't. Colorful pills for the party. She then spoke to Christina Karam. I don't know if that worked. She then spoke to Christina Karam.
Another one.
There we go. I think it worked that time. Chief of staff about picking up the package at Diddy's home. I just asked her if this was safe and okay. Jane said, recalling that she didn't feel safe traveling with the substances. Jane said Christina Karam told her,
another one.
It's fine. I do it all the time. Just put it in your checked-in luggage.
So security's implicated. Christina Karam is implicated. Essentially, if you want to say that she was a hired, paid, worker for him, she's implicated. Substance moving is a part of RICO. That is one of the requirements. You only need 2. It's there.
Yep.
Done. Rico la.
So there she is. Rico la, flying the substance from Miami, later took Twitter with Diddy, said she came from the package traveled with. A couple weeks later, Jane said Diddy asked her to take another package to Miami, and Karam
another one
told her security would come outside Diddy's home to give her the package. Jane said she put the package in her luggage and flew to Miami. She then gave the substances, which she said were Twitter, and Diddy then took them later. First, Diddy chose the entertainers who joined hotel nights, but later, we should call it horror nights, Universal Horror Nights. Jane started to pick them. I didn't like to be surprised by a stranger, she said, and Diddy watched adult videos, and from there, she had the idea to choose the entertainer she liked from it. All the men involved were strangers. Jane said she hated that the men who joined them in the encounters were strangers to her. She said even though she didn't want to have relationships with other men, she said she at least chose who she'd be with. I just said to myself, if we're going to be doing this, I should just choose who was going to be on my body. Jane said the first time she was the one to choose the man who would join them was late 2021. Diddy were watching adult videos and a man whose stage name was Sly. Afterward, Diddy was encouraging and flirtatious, asking Jane if she thought she could get Sly. Jane said she messaged Sly on Instagram and they started texting. They later FaceTime when she was with Diddy. After the FaceTime call, Jane booked flights to Sly to visit LA from Atlanta for a hotel night with her and Diddy. She recalled she and Sly were both nervous when they met. She said it was her first time meeting with an adult film star. That first hotel night with Sly went like the typical routine. Jane said afterwards she began scheduling him frequently for more nights in LA, Miami, New York. Diddy's travel agent, who was that? Yeah, the porn star travel agent, would sometimes help her book the travel, and Diddy always paid for it. Jane testified. Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Another one.
It's almost like you're transporting a paid adult worker across state lines.
And they're not even making adult films. Isn't that weird? I would think that might have been an argument. He's like, oh no, we're just an adult film business. Is maybe how he could have had a cover for all this? But he's not, to my knowledge. Sly would be paid somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 for each hotel night, usually in cash from Diddy. Jane said she picked Sly because he was familiar with me and because he felt like a safe option. After explaining how she would contact the entertainers, Jane says she would also ask them to send pictures of their privates. Lots of times she told the jurors, adding that that's what Sean wanted. Oh, God. Oh, God, you're so weird. That's so
I know.
weird.
I know. Dude, it's
So
just going to get weird.
weird.
It's just weird.
I want to stare at the privates.
Hold on to your butts.
He would ask me to send them nudes, she said.
Oh my God. Assistance to, he would ask me to send them nudes. Assistance Diddy would usually book travel for the stars, the film stars. Jen was also mentioned by name, a travel agent Jen. So maybe she'll come in. She recalled paying at least 2 men with cash from what she referred to as Diddy's cash drawer in the hotel room they used for that freak off. One of the lower level charges was involving a transporting men or women across state lines with intent that such to engage in work of that kind. Language stemming from 1910 legislation known as the Mann Act. Prosecutors have presented compelling evidence to meet the legal criteria for that charge. Washington Post is reporting. Now, jurors were shown various pictures of entertainers involving hotel nights. Man, the gross. First shown to court was named Don. Jane said they first met in 2021. She'd meet at Don hotel rooms. I'm sort of glad. I don't care about Don, but yes, a lot of workers coming in. Next court was Paul. Met very often for these nights. Another one was shown was, she doesn't remember his name. She was immediately repulsed by him, though. I just remember he was really sweaty. Thought he didn't look nice, and then he kind of smelled. I just remembered I was just hesitant. I tried to make it work, throwing looks at Diddy, saying, I wasn't feeling this. So Diddy was into smelly, sweaty dude. Was this Paul or somebody else? Yeah.
She doesn't know his name.
Unnamed man. Diddy
Which
was
probably
all
for
into
the best.
smelly one. The small, sweaty, smelly one. Diddy's like, yeah.
Another one.
Gross. Gross.
Yeah, this next part is just, I can't.
Okay, well, I'll try.
Thank
see my
you.
reaction as I go for it. I'll take Kim off. Here we go.
Thanks.
I told Sean I wasn't feeling it. Sean laid me down and started having relations with me. The other man was hovering around my face. The sweaty one?
Yep.
He said Sean was telling me to look at his private parts while Sean was having relations with me. I just remember this man sweating on me. Oh my God. What? After that, he left. Diddy had someone else coming. Oh my God. This is called a cuck, is what it, I guess it is, right? Where you're just, well, no, because he's doing it. In this instance, he's doing it with her, but asking her to stare at his because he has got a Tootsie Roll. And is this guy bigger? Is that what it is, Kim?
I don't know, and I don't care, but it sounds like they couldn't make
You
it
don't want to
work.
get into the psychology of this?
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Diddy
I
needs
already
some
know way too much about this
serious
man.
therapy if this is
Yeah.
what gets him off.
Yeah, just gross. Anyway,
Ugh.
it sounds like they couldn't make it work, so he left, and then Diddy's like,
They
okay,
couldn't
we'll have
make
somebody
it work while
else.
he's putting his helicoptering, his sweaty, smelly thing while Diddy's there. Look at it.
I'm laughing because it's so uncomfortable, and it just makes me like so gross. It's
My new
just
Diddy
gross.
voice.
It's just gross.
Ugh.
So
Sorry.
he's like,
I gotta
okay.
I know it's not funny.
I know
it's not funny, but if I don't laugh, I'll get so depressed and I don't have time for that today. So I'm gonna try to make some laughs. Sorry.
We'll have
Ooh,
a few.
But yeah, put the Tootsie Rolls in the chat. It helps me laugh at him. I love it. I'm so glad we have the Tootsie Rolls there. See, Kim, it totally worked out. Look at all these Tootsie Rolls. I'll never eat a Tootsie Roll again for the record. I just can't ever look at them again.
I'm sure Tootsie Roll
Ooh.
Company is very happy about this. But Diddy literally goes, so he leaves, sweaty dude leaves, and Diddy goes, I got somebody else coming.
We got another one lined up.
We got another guy lined
I
up.
got
So
10
Paul
people
came.
booked up.
Does everyone remember Paul? We get to know Paul.
Paul, she liked Paul. Paul was better. She explained to Paul that she was blindfolded. I took a liking to Paul. I was more comfortable. I thought he was handsome and nice and he had a warm energy. When asked if she wanted to have relations with him, she responded no. But if I had to have sex with someone, I guess it was not so bad with Paul. Jane described another man called Michael that she had hotel nights with. Jane said Diddy introduced her to Michael and she took a liking to him. Jane and Michael was the first man who he said he didn't want to be on camera when Diddy tried to film the encounter. She said Diddy turned off the camera after Michael said that. So that's weird. So when Michael makes a request to turn it off, Diddy's all like, oh, sorry, Michael. Anything else you need, Michael? Can I get you some more baby oil? But when the women are like, I don't want to do this, he's like, bitch, get on. Isn't that
Girl,
weird
stop.
dynamic? He's like nervous
incredibly
around
weird.
Michael. Did you catch that?
Yes, it's incredibly weird, and we're going to see it again.
Wow, he's like nervous around these dudes. Like, hey, sorry, my bitch is like so annoying and won't keep watching your sweaty, smelly junk. But We're cool, right? Like, that's what's happening here. And it's so creepy. So, good. I look forward to the next one. Here we go. Jane is being asked about her birthday in 2023 when she was asked by Diddy to come to Miami and have a party with just him. Huh. I remember we were at dinner. I dressed up for him. We were at a sushi dinner. I was really happy to be around my lover. I was just so loving. But Jane goes on to say that Diddy then revealed an entertainer would be involved in the night. I had this gulp. I did not expect that, she told the jurors. I didn't have words. He said, it's your birthday and let's have some fun. I just accepted it. Becoming an emotional in court again, Jane described how it became routine. I felt like at that point I'd done it so many times, I still don't know how to, I kind of just tuned it out and just got in a zone, and I just know what my partner likes to see. Jane explains that I didn't want to do this on my birthday. And she says she asked Diddy for a protection. Sean was giving me this really bad look. He gave me a dirty look, like shaking his head, and said, you better not ask for a effing rubber. I didn't want to make my partner unhappy with me. I remember I got the protection. I was able to have that protection at least on him at least. Diddy was sitting his hands clasped in front as he watched Jane testify. God, this man's a legit monster. To be able to sit there like emotionless, knowing you put this woman through this, and your argument is, it was consensual, you were into it.
It gets worse.
We've seen texts and everything, knowing it's not. And then his mom and kids are watching. Like, that is a level of effed up. Like, if I didn't think his mom and kids were as involved, I do now, because no regular person would sit there. You support your kids, I get it, your family. You do it in private. You don't sit there in a courtroom and listen to all this. You just don't. You don't. I'm not going to ask anyone to turn, like a family member to turn on a family member. That's just very on them. You know what I mean, Kim? I can't judge a family member. They can be disappointed, all that stuff, and they should. But to have to sit through this and listen to him and like try to like justify this is such a level of effed up. And it shows that he puts everyone in his relationship, even his own kids, his mother, his family, they all just sort of have built this thick skin of just like going in with emotions. You know what I mean, Kim? It's disturbing.
Or they're just desensitized at this point because everything revolves around him. He is the one that provides everything. We have to keep him happy. And this is a part of it. I really do think part of this enterprise completely revolved around keeping Diddy happy. They're a family and you had to keep him happy. And if you didn't keep him happy, things got bad. And if that's what you've been raised with and that's what you think is normal, you're going to excuse a lot of behavior. So this night got worse, by the way.
Jesus.
So she testified they switched rooms after the first
give
round.
Us a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they switched rooms after the first round. They went to a larger suite. And Diddy was more loving and celebratory. There was cake and balloons. And then Sly came.
Sly Stallone?
So they did.
Welcome to Miami. That's what we even got Sly Stallone.
So Sly showed up. They did another round. And then after Sly was done, Diddy told her Dawn was coming.
Dawn again?
Yup. So the birthday that was supposed to be just the two of them ended up being 3 rounds. And between round 1 and 2, she got to have birthday cake.
Wow. Imagine having some cake and then fitting Dawn in afterwards.
Isn't that great?
Shaking that cake around. This is disturbing.
Yep.
I'm not trying. I'm uncomfortable as another reason why I make jokes, because this is so gross. This is so gross. I don't. It's like just weird. I don't want to have this conversation with you, Kim.
I know. I'm having
to do this, but
I'm having a moment where I'm going, "Hi, my parents. I'm sorry."
Yeah, it's gross. This is so gross.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, the birthday celebration, how she felt about having a hotel night that night. He rubbed his face and his eyes when Jane told the jury he gave her a bracelet and flowers, but then invited 2 more to the hotel. She cried again. She said she needed a break, but he declined each time. During the testimony, she declined.
She was emotional, and they kept asking if she needed a break, and she said, "No, I'm fine. Keep going." And she just kept going
to power through. Yeah, it's sometimes the easier way to do it. Jurors were taking notes and appeared engaged. Jane also was speaking softly. So then there was a lunch break. The judge, government informed the judge that in the afternoon they would be showing some explicit exhibits. So we're on counsel stream, but counsel can come up and see them. Prosecutor Comey showed pictures of a man who Jane says she met in New York, testified that Diddy invited her to spend time together in New York, but she was concerned that he would set her up with someone. He said, "That's not what's going to happen. We're going to have this romantic one-on-one time together." And I was really excited. but she tells jurors that Diddy asked if she wanted entertainment while she was on her flight. I just felt really disappointed. The high of seeing my lover was a shot down. I felt like a balloon popped. Jane said she told Diddy I didn't want to do this, but goes on to describe the rapper as being super defensive. It still happened the night he gave me Twitter and went to the hotel, and I was back in my outfit. I remember greeting the man and said hello, made small talk, and we had chemistry, and trying to act calm, I let him touch my legs a little bit. I took Sean to the bedroom and told him I couldn't do this, and he was agitated. He asked what surprises she had for him. She said she wanted to make it up for him since he wasn't going to have the night she envisioned. So she messaged another entertainer she had worked with before because I knew that would make him happy, and I wanted to have an upbeat night with him. I mean, there is a part of me, Kim, where it's like, really, like, girl, how many? Really? You're still just, yeah. I'm just going to keep having these gangbangs because he wants them. It's just so depressing. I get it.
It's incredibly
I'm not supposed
depressing.
to victim blame and everything else, but I say that to try to empower like anybody who's in a situation like this. Please talk to somebody and get that strength to be able to fight back. There are ways out. She's opportunities where she wasn't seeing them and she could have just stopped picking up the phone. This is so not good for you. So I'm glad she's now finally in that place, but God, it's so sad. To reading all this. Yeah, I called somebody else just to make them happy. Make yourself happy. Oh, it's so hard to watch this, but hopefully she's in a better place now. Let's keep going. Anyway, sorry. Jane recalled Diddy saying that she didn't have to participate in encounters anymore. Oh, sorry. Jane recalled Diddy saying she didn't have to participate in encounters anymore. But in my heart, I knew he didn't mean that because it still happened that night. After Jane told Diddy she didn't want any more freak-offs, finally, here it is, she testified, he promised her a night alone if she flew to New York. While she waited for him in an SUV outside the Trump International Hotel, she told the jury she noted one of the hotel rooms was lit up in red. I was like, wow, that's extremely obvious. The red light room. Jane said in court she booked entertainers for hotel nights twice as a surprise to Diddy because she knew it was to be expected. Once for Valentine's Day and one when he returned from a trip. I could read between the lines. He didn't have to tell me to do things. He would say, I can't wait to see what you have for me. I knew the task was to set up a hotel room. So it's interesting because exactly now it's a job. She's realizing now, and I guess that makes it more make sense to me because there's going to be people who try to be mean to her, which you shouldn't, because exactly she's now in a system of just like, I got to do this or I'm going to lose my home and I don't know anything else. And it is what it is. When asked how she felt about Combs, she said she loved him deeply, told him every day. Diddy filmed hotel nights several times. He wouldn't say anything. He would just start recording and say, it's just for us. Sometimes he was happy, really happy. And on rare occasions, he would be unhappy or upset, asked whether Diddy ever gave directions on what to do. She said often. She explains those directions, including putting baby oil on the man. That's where it all comes from, man. And how to touch her places. Jane says she did not enjoy having relations with others, but wanted to put on a good show for Diddy. When asked to clarify what a good show was, she said hours of foreplay and lots of relations. That sounds awful. But especially when you want to be with the guy and you're doing it over and over again with 10 dudes. Yikes. Diddy sometimes ran out of cash as well as substances during his marathon FOs. Diddy would typically pay workers, and if the events ran long, he would have his employees bring more cash to the room, much like the staff routinely supplied bottles full of substances. Jane said that Diddy asked her to get her chest pierced while she was in the relationship. He said it would turn him on, and that's what he wanted from his girl. She said Diddy recommended a place to get it, and his former chief of staff, Christina Karam, helped her set up the appointment. It felt like something bit them. She said, adding that she took them off after a year because they bled and got infected. Ugh. Sean would say things like, where are my piercings? This is the last time I see you where you don't have your piercings on. He was agitated. Jane also described to the court what she'd do to prepare for hotel nights. I would always be on point. I would have my nails, hair, tan. I would have outfits and shoes ready. Same type of shoes every night, high heels, stripper heels. And then I'd have them on the entire time of the night. It was a lot. The baby oil would make me feel very sticky and oily. Ugh. Jane developed urinary tract and yeast infections after nearly every freak-off, she testified. Her back and shoulders hurt often afterwards because I would be on the edge of a seat or the edge of a bed in a position Diddy liked. Diddy would sometimes make Jane have relationships with workers before previous UTIs were healed. It was like burning, constant urination. Ugh. Anyway, I don't need to get into the details. It's horrible. There's a lot of them. Diddy wanted her to stay positive. Jane said he would become upset, defensive, belittling, dismissive when she suggested pausing the sessions. Jane said Diddy told her towards the end of the relationship that he did not know how she felt about hotel nights, despite her saying she told him multiple times in text and in person. She testified she believed him at the time, but she was reviewed as she's reviewed her texts with each other and that she had been telling him the same thing over and over again since 2021. Jane said that when she'd tell him how she felt about hotel nights during the relationship, he would be upset, dismissive, and belittling. Jurors looked at a text chain from 2021, a while ago, when she returned from a 2-day freak-off, and he saw posted Instagram photos of another woman in his home gym. This doesn't make me feel good at all. I see what you're turning into, what I'm turning into in your eyes. You've been saying you miss me and wanting to see me, but you were lying. You just want the hotel S. Diddy responded with an expletive-filled voice message that thundered through the courtroom on replay. You are effing nuts. So be sad. Go crazy. Go do whatever the F you want to do. It doesn't matter if I just finished effing her the other day. Oh, that's a nice dude. Nice, consensual, cool dude. Another outlet reported the quote, "This is the last time you're going to be cursing and disrespecting me." That's what he said?
Yep. On voice memo that was played all through the courtroom. Everybody heard it.
Diddy often called Jane crazy. It would make me feel confused. He's gaslighting her, of course. Just doubt. Jane testified she didn't care that Diddy was with other women, but she said she wanted more time with Diddy. It was what they were doing that made me jealous. I wanted that time with him. That's what I wanted from him. Jane testified she was jealous of the other women, how Diddy treated them. Growing emotional, Jane said, I was being treated like I was the one who had to take this on. I had to go take this on all day, and they didn't. At that point, Jane texted Diddy, "It's not me you miss or want." Jane testified that in the text she meant, "It's not me that you want, it's these nights." Clearly, he's now conditioned her to be his hotel night girl when he's in the mood, is clearly what's happening here. Jane spent an hour outlining Diddy's relationships with other women. When dating Jane, at the time went on, she said 90% of their relations involved other men, as Diddy made Jane perform in freak-offs, but she still considered him her lover. Jane told the court that Diddy went on a trip with another woman after hotel nights they had on her birthday. She found out about it, and when she saw the other woman had posted a private jet decorated for her birthday on Instagram, adding that they went to Turks and Caicos, a destination she asked Diddy to take her on, it made me feel absolutely terrible. I just finished my birthday with him. It broke my heart because I just finished spending my birthday with all these guys having relations with me, and then he would leave me and do such romantic gestures for someone else. Ugh, that's awful. She confronted him. Diddy said he didn't feel like telling her what he was doing with someone else. In a text to Diddy shown in court, she said she didn't want to do a hotel night on her birthday and that she was frustrated and feeling used. Diddy responded, accusing Jane of throwing adult activities in my face, saying, "Let's just be friends. I don't throw adult activities in your face constantly, but these nights require everything out of me for your 34 hours straight, 30 to 40 hours straight. I figure on my birthday you would switch it up on me. You're making me feel used right now, and you're breaking up with me?" Diddy eventually texted that he missed her and asked her to make up with her, I'm sure. Jane told the court that she didn't respond for 13 days. Before the break, a female juror placed her hand over her face as explicit photos were displayed. The jury was shown 15 photos that Jane said were taken during hotel nights. She testified each photo showed her and another man. Diddy was present for all of them. Public will not be able to see these photos, thank God. There's a lot, so I'm going to power through just to get through this. Just speak up if you want to. An attorney for Jane says media outlets are trying to out her identity. As we know, we talked about this, the recording streams. Don't out this woman. Leave her alone. After the break, jurors were shown a note that Jane wrote to herself in February 12th, 2023. She explained the note contained what she wanted to tell Diddy. "If you don't want me, that's fine. I just accept the fact that you are a pathological liar," she wrote. Jane adds that she wrote the note so she could think out what I was feeling, adding that notes were copied into texts. In a text to Diddy, she told him, "Anything outside of the hotel, I am a joke to you. Romance is spending time with love and happiness, not someone you call on a Friday to get high." Jane said she tried to distance herself from Diddy for a period in early 2023. He texted her, called her, and had his butler and assistant reach out. She testified. She's just his booty call. That's what's happening here. And it's like the worst kind of booty call ever. It's the most extreme booty call you can imagine. And he's got her roped in, thinking, "Yep, you're my freak off booty call." Jane told jurors she scheduled a trip to Paris. And sorry to interrupt, but it's like, imagine the women who did this who we don't know about, Kim, right?
Yeah.
There's probably others who they haven't found or are so terrified they'll never come forward. I can imagine why. This is horrifying. It's just, God, what he can do to these women. Jane told the jurors she scheduled a trip to Paris for Fashion Week, and it was the first time she had gone on a solo trip in 2 years. A few hours before her flight, Jane said Diddy repeatedly texted and called her 30 times in a row. After she got back from Paris, she began talking to Diddy again. He was adamant we should see each other, and I missed him as well. He eventually sent her a message saying he would like to make up for her missed birthday by going on a lavish trip. Jane agreed to reconnect. I remember when Sean and I started opening communication again, We were bickering, but he was adamant that we should see each other, and I missed him as well. I wanted to see him. I loved him. Jurors are looking at images of vacation in 2023. Diddy on a beach smiling, the couple posing cheerily. Combs seemed bored and invited a male escort. Shortly after arriving, though, he was bored and invited a male escort and a personal trainer to join them. We had another one of those long nights, Jane told the jury, who did not know a worker would be joining them. At one point, she said she had relations for more than 24 hours. It was just really painful. I was extremely sore. On the second day, Paul, an entertainer, arrived. I remember it was really painful. Me and Paul tried to have relations, but I couldn't. I was very sore. She told the jurors. She said Diddy got very upset, and she threw a bracelet he had given her against the wall and stormed out. Diddy said to her, "How can you make me look like that in front of Paul?" Oh my, he did not. Wow. How could you make me look like that in front of Paul? I need somebody to find me an AI Diddy voice and get me that drop. I need that drop. Whoever gets me that first, I will send you something wonderful. I'll give you a free shirt. Send me first one who gives me the most realistic sounding Diddy. How can you make me look like that in front of Paul? I will send you a free shirt. Please, somebody find that.
But literally, Andy, this is why I said when there was the comment before that you're like, so the worker didn't want to be filmed, and he went, oh yeah, sure, keep you comfortable. He's more concerned about what Paul thinks of him in this moment than his girlfriend, who is in absolute agony, and that he's dragged out here saying they were going to have time together alone, and now they're doing this.
How could you make me look like that in front of Paul?
In front of Paul.
Anime Girl 300 asks, is Diddy in love with Paul? Clearly. Clearly.
Like, and I know it's not funny, but like the Paul sent me, I was
funny.
done.
It's so funny. Diddy
going,
is
way to go, Paul.
An awful
Exactly.
monster and a pathetic, gross weirdo. Absolute narcissist. But beyond the narcissism, that's all. Yeah, people are seeing it now. You said it, Kim. He's in love with Paul. He's so worried. Like I said, I caught this earlier. He's so worried about her upsetting the men, and being embarrassed in front of these men. My God, that there is some serious therapy.
The next line is fantastic as well.
Oh, okay, good. It keeps getting better. What a day. Jane said after the 2023 trip of Turks and Caicos.
Before that, sorry.
Oh, Jane adds that Diddy told her to apologize to Paul. You need to apologize to Paul. Paul flew all the way out here to bang you against your will. And you can't, and you're sore. Come on. You got to give it to Paul. Paul's here. Come on, girl. Just put it out for Paul. Wow. I have a video coming up. You know what's really interesting? I'm going to spoil this video a little bit, but we got Sammy the Bull. This guy's like true mafia don, Kim. You know, like he's the guy who like ratted out John Gotti, put him behind bars. This guy did an interview with me, and get excited. It's out there and it's wild. But I asked him, like, what would the mafia do to a guy like Diddy? And he just without hesitation, oh, we would have killed him. I just like. So it just was, and I was like, so the Diddy is worse than the mafia, than John Gotti. And yeah, they're like, we don't F around with that kind of stuff. Not a chance that happens on our watch.
I want to be clear though. I just want to say, I don't know Paul. I don't know this guy. I don't think we've seen him yet by any means. But the fact that, you know, he was nice enough that she felt at least somewhat comfortable with him, and he had to put up with all this, and now everybody's going to be talking about Diddy and Paul. Like, I just feel so bad for the guy at this point. Like, I feel bad for Jane, but I also feel bad for Paul. So, all the best to Paul. I'm sorry, you're now in this mess.
Jane said after the 2023 trip to Turks and Caicos, she and Diddy entered a love contract. Asked Combs Jane what she wanted, a monthly allowance, and they agreed on $10,000, which she spent on a rent for a new home. Jane said they agreed on a 2-year contract because it matched the time they'd already spent in the relationship. She moved into a house where Diddy paid the rent. Who's paying your rent now? Sean. Jane said about the allowance, I started looking for a new place and moved to a new home and used that budget. I wanted something big and spacious for my child and I to enjoy, a place that I could go home and enjoy a sense of balance. I've been giving him all my love, and this is him giving me something. When asked about the prosecution, what she would have to do with as part of the agreement, she said she could get money for everything without pressure for 2 years. Diddy didn't just pay Jane's rent. He also paid for her teeth. Let's see. Wait, I just lost. Because he didn't like them, his ex-girlfriend testified. He wanted me to go to his dentist and get new veneers. It was his assistant, Christina Karam, who made the appointment for her. Jane, who was testifying, said Lady Diddy later referred to these gifts when Jane pushed back against her wishes. Look at that roof over your head and that pretty smile, Combs said to her in a text after she told him you didn't want to do debauchery, meaning a hotel night. Rico La, you want your house? You better keep performing for me, right, Kim?
Yep, that's in a text message. That's written.
Can you do the next part for me?
Sure. They look at more texts from Diddy where he wrote, "You've been hyping me up for weeks about the 18th." And that's because Jane said she had promised him what was called an all-star party for the rapper, which was inviting 3 to 4 guys and bring them all in one night. She had agreed to this because she was under the influence and with Diddy. Jane said that she could tell that he was already getting into a bad mood. In additional text, Jane apologizes for not having things planned properly. At the time, there was also a hurricane coming to LA. Now, Diddy's allegedly texted, "Text me the truth. I'm hearing BS. It's not even about the effing freak off." This text was Diddy feeling hesitation from Jane about the All-Star party. Now, the text shown in court and read by Jane show that Diddy became irritated at her when she postponed the hotel night. But the reason she postponed her hotel night was because she was on her time and she was not feeling well. And she then texted Diddy that her body had hit a wall. She didn't want to do substances, to which he responded, "Well, drink champagne instead." When she told him that it was her time of the month, she actually shared a picture with him of toilet paper to prove that this was what was going on. Diddy accused her of acting weird as F and playing him. And he texted her, and again, this is written, "F you for real, leave me alone." Diddy texted her. And Andy, I'm going to need you to pull it down for me, I think, because we're going to the next page. Yeah. Okay. Jane texted back that she had been giving him hotel nights for 2.5 years and that she's not a liar, a cheater, or a robot. "We just need to have a serious talk about everything," she wrote. Diddy did not respond to her for 3 weeks. At this point, jurors were played an audio message from Diddy to Jane after an argument between the pair in August of 2023. And this is what he said. "I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all. Nah. You're going to have a rude awakening and you will have silence," he said. "You can be mad and have a spat. That's all it is. You got me on my job. It will never work like that over here. You need to get on your job. I'm trying to be clear. I'm going to disappear on you." So in this audio message, he acknowledges that this is her job. So that's definitely not good. You're muted, Andy.
Oh yeah, it's just to say this is your job, proving you're not my girlfriend, you're my worker.
Yeah.
Rico La.
When asked about what she thought Diddy meant by saying he was going to disappear on her, Jane says she was pretty alarmed at that message. "I was just really cold, and it's true that at any moment, if he wanted to, he could just cut me off." And with that, the jury was dismissed for the day.
Look, there's a lot to talk about. We will be in the coming days, but this was a long recap, so I do want to stop it here. We'll talk for a little bit more on the replay, along with Kim's take one of this episode. But man, what a day. There's a lot to process here. But yeah, this is not looking good for Diddy, man. Every day we're getting more and more. And then we're going to hear more for this Jane Doe for 5 more days, it sounds like. Kim will be here all next week covering this. We may also have a special guest. There may be some news coming. So stay tuned. Please stay tuned. Keep watching. Support Kim. I'll pop in as often as I can, but I am going away with my family. So please support Kim in my absence. Keep it coming. So grateful for all the hard work, Kim. Bravo to you and everybody tuning in. Make sure if you haven't already, whether you're watching live or the replay or on a podcast feed. Subscribe, follow, hit the bells, hit the likes, leave a comment, leave a review. All that stuff helps us in the algorithms. Appreciate all you guys so much, and let us know what you think in the comments down below.